He- Okay, yes. So let us continue with this. Sorry for the interruption. Very good. Okay, that's it. Here and here. Okay, sorry. Thank you very much. Here we are. Okay, so we are ready. So thank you guys. So I hope that you have already gotten your sheet of paper, you have gotten your pencil as well, and now you're able to respond. Okay, so let us go. Excuse me. Let us go directly to the response. I'm gonna share my screen with you, and here I have the responses already prepared. Okay, just in case. Here we are, here, and here. Okay, so I'm gonna paste this to the chat box. Okay, dear students, here, and as well here, and I'm gonna pay this as well to the WhatsApp group. Okay, just in case you want to read the passage in there, because as you can see here right now, dear students, well, I'm not able to actually show you here or display the passage because, well, the mechanism is a little bit uncomfortable, right? Anyways, you have that in the chat box, in the WhatsApp group as well. You have everything ready, so please, you know that you have 45 seconds to read this passage. So please, all of you, you're gonna start reading this passage now. Okay, well, your time is over, dear students, and now it's time for us to go and listen to a conversation on the same topic, okay? So, well, please, as I told you, take your notes as you listen to this because sadly, we are not able to listen to this recording twice and we don't have a specific time for us to take notes apart from this one, okay? So please, let us listen to this conversation on the same topic, that is to say, well, the one that we have just read, and also take your notes, okay? Let us start.
Now listen to two students discussing the article.
I really don't think this is a good idea.
Ah, really? It sounds like the ads could help the radio station make money.
Well, yeah, I guess, but the radio station already plays a lot of announcements.
Announcements?
Well, yes, between shows they announce campus events, changes in school policy, that kind of thing. If they add commercials too, there'll be a lot less time for the entertainment content.
Yeah, and they can't really stop running those announcements. There's a lot of important info there.
Yeah, and besides, does the college radio station really need to bring in more money? I mean, they just got new sound gear last year, and the music department already pays to bring famous singers to campus. Who cares if they're aired on campus radio if we get the chance to see them live?
I see what you mean. I've never had any problems with the programming myself.
Exactly. I think advertisers will just take up extra time. They won't really improve the station. You know, I think they'll just make things worse. I don't know if I'll keep listening if they really do start running ads.
Well, maybe you're right.
The woman expresses her opinion about the change described in the article. Briefly summarize the change. Then state her opinion about the change and give the reasons she states for holding that opinion.
Okay, very good. So it's time for you now to prepare your responses. You know what to do. We have seen this yesterday in our class. And well, you know that you have 30 seconds in order to prepare the response to design your summaries for both passages. And also here you have the structure that we learned yesterday. Just in case, of course, you want to remember it, it's like this, right? You have 4 different steps to follow. The first one basically tells you to repeat the sentence to begin with in the reading passage. And then comes, of course, the summary of the reading passage, right? For example, to begin with, in the reading passage, we have seen that the university is planning to add some announcements to its programming in order to, of course, afford different equipments and to invite some famous groups and bands to sing on campus, right? Then you say, on the other hand, and you start with the summary of the conversation, right? On the other hand, we have listened to a student who agrees or disagrees with this and says the following, right? And you start, well, we listen that there is one student who dislikes this idea because she considers that there are too many advertisements in the programming already. And secondly, she considers that the radio station does not actually need more money, right? Something like that. Now, remember that in your summary of the conversation, you must be very, very careful to merely talk about the main speaker of the conversation. Remember, let us remember that in the conversation, we'll always have two different speakers, but there is just one of them who very specifically details his or her opinion and offers some reasons and arguments to, of course, hold that opinion. So if I say, this is the main speaker, and your summary of the conversation, you should merely talk about the main speaker and to ignore the other one completely. Don't mention it, okay? Merely mention the first speaker, the main one, okay? Not the secondary one. Very good. So we can start with a response then. And I'm gonna give you your 30 seconds to prepare the summaries as I told you, and then you'll have your minute to respond one by one, okay? So please start preparing your responses for the question now. Very good. We are ready then to start with this first round of responses. And please, dear Roy, you're going to help me with the first response, okay? So please, you can start responding to the question now.
And the article says that the school radio station will advertise some local business to earn some extra money. They will use this extra money to improve their equipment and to buy license of the most popular songs in order to reproduce them in the program. And they will use this extra money also to invite famous singers to the campus and have a live performance. So the girl says that she is disagree with all of this for the following reasons. First, she is disagree because they already advertise some news and they will not have enough time to reproduce the songs. And secondly, they already have live performance in the campus, so it's not so necessary.
Okay. Thank you very much, dear Roy. Very good response. Let us continue with our dear Mariana. Please, dear Mariana, you're going to delight us with your response for this question starting now. Mariana, can you listen to me? Shall we start again with a response?
Sorry,
Yeah.
Mr. I can be no. I don't prefer.
Okay, no. Yeah, tell me. You are you able to respond to the question, or I didn't listen to you very well?
I couldn't prepare notes.
Oh, okay. No, it's okay, dear Mariana. Fine, don't worry. You're going to help us in the next round, okay? Very good. So let us continue with our dear Abigail. Please, dear Abigail, you can start responding to this question now.
Okay, to begin with, in the reading passage, it says that the student, Dan Shanklin, the director of the station, he wants to improve its programming with advertising from local business. and they will take the decision the next week. On the other hand, the student girl says that she's disagree totally because of the following reasons. She says the radio station has already a lot of ads, and it's not necessary. And secondly, she says the university pay for this program, and that's why they don't need more money.
Okay, thank you very much, dear Abigail. Fantastic. Let me finalize this response with our dear Cecilia. So please, Cecilia, you can start responding to the question now. Okay, shall we start again, dear Cecilia? I guess you had some troubles with your mic. Can you help us with the response? Or you're going through some problems in your connection? You can write in the chat box if you want. Okay. Okay, dear Cecilia. I see, don't worry. Yeah, I don't know, maybe it is connected to Zoom, I guess, the issue. You can actually try to, maybe you can get out of the Reunion and you can rejoin. Maybe that is going to solve the problem. Or you can check out your external microphone as well. Maybe that is going to help with fixing the issue. Okay. Anyways, don't worry, dear Cecilia. It's fine. Great. Well, so let me offer some feedback then for Roy and for Abigail, who participated in this round. So Roy, I think that in this case, you offered a very good response. Now, for example, here, notice that maybe the reason why you didn't have time to mention or to summarize the conversation as good and as long as you would have liked to do so, I guess it was because you spent too much time on the summary of the reading passage. So for that reason, I would encourage you to try to offer a way more general and concise summary of the reading passage. It is not necessary to mention a lot of details in this part, especially because, as we said yesterday, we should spend less time summarizing the reading passage than the conversation, because in this response, our summary of the conversation and the level of detail and the efficiency and level of accuracy that we include in the summary of the conversation is way important, or is way more important than the summary of the reading passage, actually. So as I said, if you would like to, in this case, try to have more time in order to continue with your summary of the conversation, I would encourage you to diminish a little bit your time in the reading passage summary. Okay, but anyways, very good, dear Roy, very good response. And then we had as well Abigail's response. So Abigail also had more or less the same issue. It was a fantastic response with a very good exposition of all the reasons that the main speaker gave. In this case, the female student, right? She was, in this case, the main speaker, and she was the one offering some reasons why she holds that particular position. And as we have seen, in this case, she was also very much detailed when specifying those reasons. And I think that Abigail managed to offer that very good summary as well. So my other recommendation with you, dear Abigail, would be, as I said, maybe making a shorter summary of the reading passage so that you have more time to include the wonderful summary you delivered of the conversation, right? But apart from that, fantastic, dear Abigail, and Roy as well, very good. Okay, great. So I hope that Mariana and Cecilia can join us in this next round, but let us go directly to it, okay? Let's go with the next round. Here we have it. Okay, let me paste this new passage to the chat box first of all, and then to the WhatsApp group as well. Here, Control C, Control C. Great, Cecilia, you just came back on time because we're about to start with a new task, okay? So please, I have just pasted in the chat box and also in the WhatsApp group the second reading passage for you to, of course, analyze. And please, dear students, all of you can start reading this new passage now. Okay, great. So let us listen now to the conversation on the same topic, and then we'll have some time for us to prepare their responses. Let us listen.
Now, listen to two students discussing the announcement.
Did you hear about the new food court on South Campus?
Yeah, man, it's too bad they're getting rid of the cafeteria.
What? Why? Won't it be good to have a few more options?
I don't know. I don't feel like this really gives us more choices. The cafeteria already had dishes from other countries. They had vegetarian options and customizable sandwiches, too. It's not like the quality of this new food court's ingredients is going to be much better than what we had. I'll bet it's all from the same source, even.
You think? I mean, yeah, if they don't even change their supplier, the offerings probably won't be all that different.
Exactly. Just pricier.
Wait, why is that?
The cafeteria was all you can eat. You'd get as much food as you wanted for a flat price. But at a food court, you've got to order individual meals. That ends up costing more.
You've always liked to load up a big plate, huh?
You've got that right. If I have to buy 4 meals every day, it's going to be hard on my wallet.
His opinion about the change described in the article. Briefly summarize the change. Then state his opinion about the change and explain the reasons he gives for holding that opinion.
Fantastic. There we are. So we have now read the reading passage and we have listened to the conversation. And it's your time for you to prepare the responses for this question, okay? So please, I ask you to start preparing such responses now. Okay, there you are. So let us see who's going to help us with this round. Please, here, Abigail, you're going to be delighting us with your response, okay? So you can please start, dear Abigail, to respond to this question now.
Well, to begin with in the reading passage, they say that the dining hall of the campus, the cafeteria will be replaced by a new food court. And the guy said, on the other hand, the guy says the cafeteria has international food, vegetarian, and he thinks that is not necessary because his whole cafeteria has all that he needs. And secondly, he is worried about the price because he says he can eat a lot in his older cafeteria, but in the new food court, he will pay for individuals.
Okay, thank you very much, dear Abigail. Very good response. Okay, let me continue with our dear Cecilia. Did you manage to solve your problems, dear Cecilia? Yeah. Well, I cannot listen to you very sadly. What could it be? I don't know. As I say, maybe the external microphone or the connection, as you said, could be as well. Well, you know what to do, dear Cecilia. You can send the response to the WhatsApp group, right? Record with your cell phone with the audio recording, right, of WhatsApp. Record your response. As I say, always, of course, try to respond in 1 minute and then send that response to the WhatsApp group so that I can, well, she got out. Okay, well, anyways, I hope she listened. Okay, great. So let us continue with Mariana. Please, dear Mariana, you're going to delight us with your response. So please, you can start responding this question now.
To begin with the reading passage, the dining hall in the campus will be redesigned. The first interview disagree for the following reason. First, because he disagree with have more international food. He think he have everything they need in the cafeteria. And secondly, he disagree because the price of the food will be increased. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Very good, dear Mariana. Fantastic. Thank you very much for your response. And now let us finalize with our dear Roy. Please, Roy, you're going to be responding this question, and you can start doing so now.
This article was about that the diner hall at the university will have some change. This change will be that the actual cafeteria will be replaced by some new restaurants. This will give the student some new place and varied and some extra food, extra type of food. About this, the guy in the conversation says that he is disagree with this change for the following reasons. First, the cafeteria already have a different kind of foods, and it's not necessary to remodulate this to have some extra news because it's already many kind of dishes. And secondly, it will be more expensive because right now they only pay one time a day to have all he can eat, but with this change they will have to pay for each meal.
Great. Thank you very much, dear Roy. Fantastic response. Awesome. Well, so what can I tell you with regard to these responses? Let me start with our dear Abigail. So Abigail, you offered a fantastic response. I think that you were very, very much accurate when summarizing. You offered a very brief as well and very concise summary. I liked your transitions when you were moving from the summary of the reading passage towards the listening. I think it was fantastic. Now here, my only recommendation would be with regard to the pronunciation of the word cafeteria, right? When you were saying cafeteria, I think that you were pronouncing like cafeteria or something. So remember, cafeteria, the accent is in T, cafeteria, okay? So that would be my only observation. But apart from that, I think that, as I told you, the response is very good. You are following the template. You are offering a very much a smooth transition to each part of the structure. So I think it's wonderful, okay? Very good, dear Abigail. Then we had Mariana's response. Dear Mariana, you were also very accurate in your response. You offer a very brief summary, especially of the reading section. And I love that because, as I told you yesterday, the reading section is not that much important in this particular response, because actually the focus of our attention should be on the conversation. That is to say, we should be more prompt to spend and invest more time when summarizing the conversation, as you did. So that is fantastic, dear Mariana. You should repeat that in future responses as well. Very good. I think that, as I said, you offer a very good response, very brief, with good transitions as well. Very good, dear Mariana. And finally, we had our dear Roy, who also offered a fantastic exposition of the reading, and especially a very detailed explanation of what the main speaker postulated as his reasons for holding the opinion he had. Very good, Roy. I don't have any observation on your response. It was fantastic. Okay. And well, Cecilia has come back. I don't know, dear Cecilia, if you're able to speak now, but I was telling you before that if you're not able to speak, don't worry. You can send your message, to the WhatsApp group, you can record your audio through the audio recording of WhatsApp, and you can just, of course, check out that your response doesn't exceed 1 minute, and you can send that response right now to the WhatsApp group, and I can listen to it, okay, and to give you some feedback through the Zoom call, okay? So if you want, you can do that, so that, of course, we can solve this problem in this different manner, okay? Dear Cecilia, if you want, you can send that to the WhatsApp group, and I can listen to your response and offer you some feedback, all right? Very good. Well, so as Cecilia sends her response to the WhatsApp group, let us continue and let us practice another exercise. So please let me just access this very quickly. Gotta go back. Okay, sorry. All right. Here we are. Okay. So I'm going to paste this new passage to the chat box, and I'm also going to paste it to the WhatsApp group, okay? If you want to read it there, it's going to be available as well. Here you have it, sorry. Just okay, now, fantastic. Well, so now, please, all of you dear students, you can start reading this passage. You have 45 seconds to do so, and you can start now. Okay, your 45 seconds to read are over. And now please listen to the conversation on the same topic.
Now listen to two students discussing the announcement.
Can you believe this ridiculous new policy about vegetarian meals every Friday?
What's wrong with it? I mean, I thought you were a vegetarian. Isn't this exactly what you would want?
Yeah, I'm vegetarian, but we told the head of the dining hall that it was unfair that every day of the week the hot meal seemed to include meat, and students like me were basically forced to have cold dinner all the time.
What's the problem then?
We pay a full meal plan like everybody else does, but we don't get hot food like everybody else does. We wanted a vegetarian option to be included every day of the week on the menu as an alternative for vegetarians, so we can have a proper meal for dinner.
But one meal a week is better than nothing, you know?
Not really. The university thinks that this will appease us, but I still have to eat salad 4 days a week. It's really repetitive.
Yeah, I could see that getting old.
Tell me about it. And have you actually used the salad bar? Half of it is totally inedible. The lettuce is all wilted. The tomatoes are tasteless. It's not exactly fine dining.
The female student expresses her opinion about why she disagrees with the university's new policy. State her opinion and explain the reasons she gives for holding that opinion.
Okay, very good. I just sent a message for you, dear Cecilia, in the chat box. You can read it there, okay? Well, so for the rest of you, please, dear students, you can start, in this case, preparing your responses for this question now. All right, great. There you are. So, dear students, it's now time for you to go about preparing your responses, okay? So please, no, not preparing, but delivering your responses. So in this case, please, dear Mariana, you're going to delight us with your response as the first one. So please, you can start responding to this question now.
To begin with the reading passage, the university committee held and sent the cafeteria menu limited. The review it disagreed for the following reasons. For begin, she wants there to be a vegetarian option every week, every day, not only Friday. Secondly, she wants more option vegetarian food.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, dear Mariana. Very good, fantastic. All right, let us continue with our dear Roy. Please, dear Roy, you can start responding to the question now.
This article says that the cafeteria will have vegetarian hot meal every Friday in order to improve a healthy diet for all the students. According to this, the student was disagree with this for the following reasons. First, she is a vegetarian and she eat every day a cold vegetarian food for the salad bar, and that's not fair because she pays exactly the same amount than the other student that eat meat, and they had a hot meal every day. So this is not enough. She wants every day a hot vegetarian food. And secondly, it's so repetitive, the salad bar that they already have. So this is why she's disagree with this change.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much, dear Roy. It was a very good response. And let us finalize with our dear Abigail, okay? So please, dear Abigail, you can start responding to this question now.
To begin with the reading passage, it says the university will offer vegetarian food every Friday for all students. On the other hand, the girl is against because of the following reasons. She says that she is against because she considers that it's not okay to obligate the students eat every Friday vegetarian food, because she considered that a hot meal has to include meat. And secondly, she says she paid for the meal, for a proper meal, and the salad is not enough for her.
Thank you very much, dear Abigail. Fantastic. Well, so let me then start with the feedback for all of you. Let me start with our dear Mariana, okay? So please, Mariana, well, in this case, you said, for example, well, you mentioned a very good summary of the reading passage and also of the conversation. I like how you are very consistent with how you are summarizing the reading part very briefly and generally. That is something that, as I told you, you should definitely copy and imitate in the rest of your responses. And that is exactly what you're doing, right? You are summarizing the reading passage in a super concise manner, and that is very much advantageous for your response, not only because you are actually saving a lot of time for the rest, for the conversation, but also because, as I say, you are focusing on what ETS cares about. That is, as I told you, the conversation and the exposition you make of the main speaker's arguments, okay? So very good, dear Mariana. Then we had Roy as well. As always, a fantastic response, dear Roy. I think that you are certainly covering all the aspects and details very efficiently. I think that that is the reason why you have time to mention everything in 1 minute, because although you are very, very specific and very detailed with all the information that the passage allows you to have, you are very efficient when summarizing, and that helps you to include the entire response within 1 minute. Now here for you, have a little observation. When you said, for example, he was disagree, you know, the verb to be that you were using there, the verb was in this case, is not necessary. The correct manner to say would be he disagreed, or he agreed, or he disagreed. And the same goes as well for present tense. That is to say, when you are, for example, expressing if you agree or if you disagree with something, you say in first person, right? I disagree or I agree, without the verb to be preceding this verb, that is to say, agreeing. So the verb agreeing as such is, as I mentioned, not requiring this auxiliary verb that in this case, of course, we are using the verb to be as an auxiliary verb, right? So it's not necessary there, Roy, when you are expressing that. So as I say, it's sufficient if you say he disagree or he agree, or when you are speaking in first person, you say I agree or I disagree, okay? With that, you have it covered. Very good, dear Roy. Anyways, fantastic response. There you had Abigail as well, who, well, Abigail in this case offered a fantastic summary. I don't have any observation here, Abigail. I think that it was fantastic. Smooth transitions, very specific, very well summarized. Very good. Dear Abigail, fantastic. And then, well, Cecilia, as I say, you can send the audios to the WhatsApp group so that they can listen to them. You can send them right here. Okay, you can just record your responses with your microphone through your cell phone, right? And send them here to the WhatsApp group. I think that I'm going to be totally able to review them right now or later, as you prefer. It's okay, all right? We can solve that, don't worry. But anyways, take your notes, listen and read so that you can send your responses when you're able to, okay? Don't worry anyways. Well, let us go with one more practice. I press next, and we're going to continue. Oh, it's actually backwards. Yeah, and here we are. Okay, so next passage. I have it here for you, okay? Let me paste this to the WhatsApp group and also to the chat box, as we said, right? There and also here. Fantastic. There you are. So, very good. Please, you can start reading this passage now. Very good. So please, dear students, now start listening to a conversation on the same topic.
Now listen to two students discussing the announcement.
Can you believe that the Secretary of State's speech is being limited to students in the political science and government departments? It's really unfair that they get guaranteed access.
Wait, really? I mean, don't you agree that the Secretary of State's speech is especially important to students in government and political science?
But what about students in history or cultural studies? It's wrong to assume that just because someone studies government, the speech would automatically be more important for them.
I guess so, but can't you still apply to get a seat? So if it is important to you, you can just, show them that it is.
With the essay? That's not exactly ideal. The people who judge the essays will be professors from government and political science. They have their own ideas about what good and bad reasons are. They'll be too prejudiced.
You think?
Oh, totally. I mean, how will they be able to judge an essay by someone like a poet or a computer scientist or a sculptor? They'll probably just dismiss those essays completely.
The female student expresses her opinion about why she disagrees with the university's new policy. State her opinion and explain the reasons she gives for holding that opinion.
There we are. Please, let us start with this new response, and all of you, please, your students can start preparing your responses now. Okay, there you are. All right, so please, dear Roy, you're going to collaborate me in this first response. So please, you can turn on your microphone and you can start responding to the question now.
And this article says that the Secretary of the State will have a speech in the university, and some departments will be allowed to. They will guarantee a seat in this speech, and for those students that doesn't belong to this department, they had to buy a say, and if they approve the essay, they will have a seat on this speech. About this article, the student disagree with this for the following reasons. First, she thinks that everybody should be allowed to be in this speech because they maybe they matter what the secretary have to say, and this doesn't fair that only these specific departments have a guaranteed seat. And the second reason is that this essay will be so this is all I have prepared.
Okay, no, it's okay. Thank you very much, dear Roy. Very good. Okay, let us continue with our dear Abigail, please. Abigail, you're going to continue with this round. You can start responding to the question now.
To begin with, in the reading passage, the university announced that the Secretary of State will be making an hour of speech, and the guy says that he is against because of the following reasons. They consider that the Secretary of State can't limit the quantity of students to access this speech. And secondly, he is afraid because he considers the people who will judge will already prejudice them because there is a committee of professors from political science and government.
All right, thank you very much, dear Abigail. And let us finalize with our dear Mariana. Okay, dear Mariana, you can start this response now.
To begin with the reading passage, they submit a side to the secretary to attend to speech, and she disagreed for the following reasons. She thinks all the students should be attended to the speech. And that's all, teacher. I couldn't say no.
Okay, it's all right. Thank you very much, dear Mariana. Very good. Okay, Ceci, you are not able to respond yet, right? Okay, don't worry. We're going to do what I told you, okay? You're going to send your audios to the WhatsApp group, and I'm going to review them later on, okay? Don't worry. Well, let us continue then with the feedback. So very good, dear students. I think that you are certainly getting this task very well. So Roy, I think that in this case, I like how you apply what I told you, right? The disagree and agree thing with regard to this auxiliary verb that was not actually necessary when you were, in this case, talking or narrating, of course. If somebody was agreeing or disagreeing with something, in this case, you didn't use this auxiliary verb as well. You were using the verb to be as an auxiliary verb, right? And you didn't use it in this case. Fantastic. Very good, dear Roy. With regard to the rest of the response, very good. Anyways, as I say, maybe you could have spent a little bit less time on the summary of the reading passage. You know, dear students, I identified that, for example, in this reading passage, we had a lot of details, right? A lot of numbers and a lot of names, and for example, the name of the secretary, the name of the auditorium, how many people would be able to be there, how many words would the essay for the applications should it have. I mean, we saw a lot of information, right, and specific data. So when you face one of these reading passages, don't let yourself to be somehow scared by this huge quantity of data. First of all, because as I mentioned, in this particular regard, in the reading passage, in your response, you should always make a very general and plain summary of the reading passage. Even if you have a lot of details written on there, don't worry about it. You shouldn't even mention them. As I say, the idea is to offer a very general view of what the reading passage said without actually immersing ourselves into the details or specifics of the reading passage. It is in the conversation where we can, of course, come about and to discuss the specifics and the illustrations and to be more, as I mentioned, scrupulous in summarizing the conversation, okay? But anyways, very good, Roy. And the same for Abigail. Fantastic response. I think that you are certainly nailing it in this one. Very good, Abigail. Okay, let us go with one last practice, okay, for all of you. Let me please send you the reading passage. Okay, here we are. So please let me paste this to the chat box and thus you'll finalize. Okay, there, and also key. The WhatsApp group, there you are. So please, you can start reading this passage now. All right. So please, dear students, you can start listening to a conversation on the same topic.
Now listen to two students discussing the announcement.
I think it's totally unfair that the Buonocore Scholarship is only being offered to students in the Romance Languages department. Like, it's an amazing opportunity, and it's so sad to see it monopolized in this way.
Bad thing to limit the scholarship to one department, though? I mean, the fewer students compete for the prize, the easier it'll be for students like us to win it. After all, there are only 7 other students in the whole Romance Languages department besides us.
Well, that doesn't change the fact that it's wrong for the scholarship to be limited to our single department. It's a matter of principle. First of all, there are students in other departments, like history and classics and Renaissance studies, all of whom would definitely benefit from a year in Italy. Why shouldn't they get a chance to submit their work to the committee?
But if they also submitted their essays, it would be harder for us to get the prize.
Look, just because something benefits me personally doesn't make me think that it's right. I mean, I have a lot of friends in history and classics and Renaissance studies, and I totally agree with them that it's wrong for them to be ineligible to compete for the scholarship. After all, Romance Languages is a very small department, and it seems abusive for us to keep this resource all to ourselves.
I guess I see where you're coming from.
Also, I think that it takes something away from the honor of winning the scholarship if the competition isn't very strong. I'd rather know that I earned the opportunity to study in Rome by competing against the very best students, instead of thinking that I was only honored because other talented people were unnecessarily excluded from the process.
Very good. That would constitute the conversation. So please, you can start preparing your responses for this question now. There you are, time's over. So please, here, Abigail, you're going to help me with the first response, and you can start doing so now.
Okay, to begin with in the reading passage, says that the university will offer a scholarship just for students in the Romance language to study in Rome. On the other hand, the girl says that it is unfair that just one department will be applied for this scholarship, and she feels very sad. Secondly, she says that she have many friends in another departments as science and laws, etc. And they need this opportunity. And she is angry because she says the Romance language, this department is very small, and that's all.
Very good. Thank you very much, Abigail. And let us continue with our dear Mariana. So please, dear Mariana, you can start responding to this question now.
Okay. To begin with the reading passage about the scholarship for linguistic student, the student disagree with this for the following reason, because that few students will be able to access to the scholarship opportunity, and secondly, they believe that students should be getting opportunity from all their departments and to be able to access the scholarship.
Okay, thank you very much, Mariana. And let us finalize with Roy. You can please start responding to the question now.
This article says that the university is given the opportunity to go to Rome, study 1 year there. But this opportunity is only for one department of the university. So about this, the students said that this is not fair because this department have few students, and other department have more students, and they can use this opportunity as well, because they have some things that will be improving in Rome. And second, the student says that this have to be earned by I say, but if there are so few people, this is not a great competition. She want to compete this opportunity with a bigger amount of students.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Roy. Well, great. I have to say to all of you, dear students, that I am very much content and happy with your high performances on this task. I think that the three of you who have responded to the questions have done a fantastic job. You have offered very succinct, concise, brief summaries with a very, very good level of grammar and also with very smooth transitions. So, well, dear Ceci, you can, of course, as I told you, send your audios to the WhatsApp group or to my personal if you want later on. And I'm going to be glad to help you with some feedback, okay? Anyways, we're going to stop here. Thank you very much for your attention. I'm going to take your assistance. Please don't go. And as I do so, please help me with the traditional poll, okay? As you know, I always appreciate your responses. Oh, and I have something else I was forgetting. I have gifts for you. I have some presents for you. Let me please send it right now. I was preparing this afternoon 2 different videos for you to practice by yourself in your free time, not only for the second task, but also for the third task, because although we have not discussed the third task yet, but we're going to do it tomorrow. Well, I was preparing this, and of course, there you have for your free time, practice by yourself. You have passages, you have audios, everything you may need to practice by yourself, okay? There you have it, that's for you. And well, now your assistant. Okay. Where are you guys? All right. So it's here present our dear Patiño Araceli. Okay, what about Samuel Oscar? Okay. Dear students, could you please help me with one more poll? You know that we have to fill 2, right? Because it's Wednesday. So please, as I do that, help me with your kind response for the second poll. So sorry for bothering you. And well, not about Abigail Graciela.
Present.
Thank you very much, Abigail. What about Brian David? Roy?
Present.
Thank you very much, dear Roy. What about Mariana Vaca?
Present.
Thank you very much, Mariana. And finally, we have Cecilia, who is not able to respond, but don't worry, Cecilia, I got you. You have present. Okay, very good. Thank you very much, guys. Awesome. Well, so as I say, I'm going to be seeing you next time. Yeah, no, it's okay, dear Ceci. Don't worry. It's something that happens. Thank you very much, dear students. I see you next time. And please, dear Ceci, you can send the audios to me. Okay, have a wonderful night. See you tomorrow.